Welcome to another exciting and interesting, informative episode of Homefront. And today is Thursday, the day before Friday. We're excited. We're always excited for the weekend. We're always excited for the weekend. And for those of you who have been watching us for the entire week, you would remember that earlier this week, we had our pediatric emergency specialist with us, Dr. Robertson. She's back with us here on the home front. So welcome again, Dr. Robertson. Thanks for being here with us. And today we're going to dive a bit. I knew that you touch on neurology and you touch on pediatrics, but you also deal with a bit of nutrition as well. So in terms of healthy mind, healthy body, and what we feed our bodies, today's episode we're going to discuss a bit about healthy food.
Yeah, we need to talk about this. So thank you, Myla. Thank you for inviting me as always to your home.
Yes,
right?
So,
indeed. So what we've been noticing, right, with this unprecedented time of COVID lockdown is we're getting a lot of issues with young people and children coming in with issues around food in particular. So putting a lot of weight on, having issues like food, eating disorders, and so on. So what we normally start talking about with any young person who comes in is that there's a real interconnect between our minds and our bodies. And one of the first important things to look at is the importance of what you put into your body, right?
Because I know the old saying is you are what you eat.
Yep, you are what you eat. But what's been happening is because we've been at home and maybe not moving around as much and so on, and if you're anything like me, there is a snack drawer, right, in the house. And COVID snacks are a real thing.
A lot of people in their offices, they have that, snack drawer.
Yeah. So definitely COVID snacks have been happening. But we have to also think about why it is that we feel a need to snack. So people will often feel hungry or snacky for varying reasons. Boredom is one, for instance. Maybe feeling a little bit low in mood, for example. All things that have been happening during COVID. So the first thing we normally talk about is make sure that you try and stick to a routine, especially for kids who are now doing online schooling. So try and keep a routine as much as possible. Have a bedtime, make sure you're getting enough sleep, and that when you wake up, you try and organize your workspace. Now for kids, what's happening is the workspace is now the bedroom, and so everything is all mixed up.
Yeah.
So you just try and block off a little area that is your workspace. When you're there, you're in the work zone, basically. Having a set routine actually does tend to help because our bodies respond to rhythm. And so having a healthy rhythm is a big part of it. The second thing we normally have a chat about is also looking at keeping well hydrated, because being dehydrated, our body sometimes mistakes as hunger.
When you say hydrated, because when I was a child, I would love to open the fridge. Mommy, I could drink some juice?
No.
Because back then you had to ask before you get anything in the fridge.
That's true. Yeah.
So
only
not juice.
Only drink water. The only fluid we really need is water.
Water alone?
Yes,
So I can't drink juice?
No. The problem is you can have the fresh fruit. In fact, the fresh fruit is much better for you than the juice itself. Because what happens when we juice things is that we actually take out the fiber within it. And so you get a big hit of sugar. Rather than it being gradually released with fiber into your body, right? So it's much better to have the fruit
versus the juices.
So make sure you're drinking well, but drinking water. Of course, this is a big one because it's really easy for kids to fall on the juice pathway. And a lot of the boxes of juice and the soft drinks and so on pack in a lot of sugar.
So how much water would you advise someone to hydrate a child with daily?
Depends a little bit on their age, but the average sort of teenager comes in, we're looking at about 1 liter to 1.5 liters of water a day. So that's about 6 to 8 glasses is your standard amount of water per day. But I usually have to kind of talk them down from the dependence on things like juice and soft drinks. So normally we'll say that a young person should normally get about 6 teaspoons of sugar a day. Yeah. But the average soft drink, average kind of bottle, can sometimes pack in as much as 3 to 4 times that in one serving.
So one soft drink gives you 3 to 4 times?
Depending on the soft drink.
Yeah, depending on the soft drink.
Yeah.
So on average, an average soft drink
especially if you're going for a big bottle.
3 to 4 times the amount of sugar you're supposed to consume in an entire day?
It's quite possible. Yeah, and I have some kids who now go and drink 3 and 4 of those. Yeah. And so that is a lot.
That's why they give trouble to sleep in the night.
Well, that's a big part of it because
they're running up and down.
But they're also not getting exercise, they're not getting out, they're being really sedentary and so on as well. So all that adds into it. So you do need to look at things like that. We normally would say try and cut down a lot of the processed snacks And a processed snack is defined as anything that has 5 or more ingredients, especially if you cannot pronounce what the name of the thing is. So if you can't say the name,
if you
then
can't
it
say
is
the
not
name.
real food.
All right.
As far as we're
So
concerned.
that's your go-to.
You're looking for essentially whole unprocessed foods as much as possible. I'm not saying no snacks ever. They're always there.
So
as occasional treats.
you're allowing snacks as children. They're home, they're learning from
occasional
home.
treat,
They could have a snack.
But the idea of snacks, rather than having to necessarily be something from a pack, could also maybe be a piece of fruit.
Right.
Yeah, can also be, that's an excellent snack to have, for example. Bits of cheese, for instance, not bad. But it would be much better for you than actually going always for the processed snacks option.
But then we have some parents who have to go to work and they have to leave the kids at home, and then all hell breaks loose because the children will go to the snack cupboard and just take snacks.
Yeah.
So maybe we could advise the parents to
What
probably
to do
prepare
before.
from the night before.
I like how you're thinking. So that's a big one. So we normally say get kids involved in food preparation, get them involved as well in things like putting together some of the healthy snack options. And the other is cut things into snack-sized bits. So if you have your veggies or fruit, for instance, let's have it already prepped in the fridge so that they don't have to go looking for it. You pull out your package of snacks.
So it's easy.
Your healthy
it's
snacks
much
already.
easier for them to access it. And I know you spoke about fruits as a snack, but what about things like granola, whole grains?
So there's lots of healthy options for that as well. And I find Pinterest a great place to get some of my ideas. But things like your whole grains are a really good source of slow release of energy. So I like those as options as well. The idea is you want to move away from food that's been ultra processed and really taken out a lot of its natural, healthy core ingredients, basically. Because the more processed it is, the less actual sort of fiber and natural components are remaining in it. And the other last important point I normally make is just really be careful of what I call mindless eating. I do it too. I've been guilty of this one. But eating in front of a screen, in front of a device, in front of the TV, right?
Munching.
That is huge. That's been shown to be associated with high risk of obesity and overweight, because what happens is we're just not paying attention to the cues from our body when we're full.
You know what I also saw too, Dr. Robertson, that's jumped out to me and I never realized it before, is that a lot of these snacks and juices and drinks, they have a serving size that they would say on a pack, serves 4 to 5 people, or serves or 4 to 5 portions, or a drink may say this contains 2 servings. But we don't think of that. We think that if we have a bottle of soft drink or we have a bottle of juice, that this is a serving. So you drink all, not knowing that this is 2 servings. And you're supposed to kind of split it in half because the nutritional facts or the calories on it is for double.
It's meant for that serving.
It's meant for that serving. So you're actually consuming double the amount. And then too, in terms of snacking, because sometimes you'll be watching a movie with the family and then you have this big bag of chips or a big bag of whatever it may be, and I found when you have the bag, you tend to want to finish the bag. So you would eat until the bag is finished.
Absolutely, I'm guilty of that too.
So what I always advise people to do in terms of families is that you portion it out. You put a bowl and then you pour out some of the snack or the fruit or the whatever in this bowl, so you only consume that, and it's a mind thing too, that once you finish this, you're done. You're done instead of finishing the whole bag. So Dr. Robertson, we want to thank you for that in terms of giving that advice, because we're going to jump in right now, as you spoke about healthy body, healthy mind, into our mindfulness segment.
Welcome to this Mindful Minute. Sitting comfortably, closing your eyes, and just beginning to notice your breath. Noticing this inhale and this exhale. And if you pay really close attention, you might notice that there's a short pause right at the end of each inhale and right at the end of each exhale. Just keep your focus on that pause. So the breath is a great way to remind us to be here now.
putting your mind at ease, at peace with our mindfulness segment. Dr. Robertson, we want to thank you very much again for being here.
Pleasure.
I know I'm taking plenty of your time
No problem, anytime.
Yes, twice for the week I had you.
That's true.
Twice for the week.
That's
so I owe you.
That's all right. That's all right. Anytime.
And you give us a lot of information that would help us in terms of all the nutrition for our bodies to make sure that we feed our bodies the right way. We want to thank you all for joining us. This is another episode of Homefront, and we have to remind you again about the PED CARES Foundation, because the PED CARES Foundation, they care. They really do care. They deal in terms of the training of the pediatrics, they deal in the training of the doctors, in terms of the nurses, and they are supporting our communities, they're supporting the schools, and they do it internationally and locally. So we need you to support them by donating. So donate to the PED CARES Foundation and send something. It could be as small as a mustard seed, or it could be as big as you want, because a little goes a long way. We are going to take care of our children of the future. And right now, pull out your phones, because you know what time it is. If you've been following all week, you know it's time for questions. Send in those video questions, whatever you may want to ask, and we are going to get it answered by a specialist right here. So send those video questions to the email address on your screen, and we're going to get those questions answered. My name is Rome. Thank you very much for joining us. This was Homefront. Catch you tomorrow, and tomorrow is Friday. We're going to have a professor with us, because it's Prof Friday tomorrow. Friday with Prof. You don't want to miss that episode.